Today on Lake Commandos, with their original destination wiped out by severe thunderstorms, Steve Pennaz and Matt Breuer are forced into a major last-minute mission change.
Oh, that's a good fish, too. I'm getting his head.
New water and a new target species. Will they succeed? We'll find out when we go commando.
I love fishing new water. The challenge is always the same. Find fish, trigger strikes.
Ooh, that's a big fish.
But what I really love is beating the other guy.
I got the fish.
This is Lake Commandos.
You know, dude, I thought at least finding the lake would be a little easier than it.
Many times, being a good lake commando starts not at the ramp, but the moment you hook up the boat and pull out of the driveway. This was one of those days. Young gun guide Matt Breuer and I had planned to chase open water smallmouth on a large natural lake, but a line of severe thunderstorms had moved into that area, so before we had even left, we had to make a commando decision and find a new, unknown piece of water to explore. It's just what you do when you go commando, and as one of the best young fishing guides around, I knew it wouldn't be a problem for Matt.
You know, it's funny, I've known Matt for several years. We've spoke on the phone, we've corresponded over Facebook and that sort of thing, but today was the first time we actually ever met in person. But here's a young man who's grown a guide business from scratch, does a superb job both summer and winter, and has made a second career out of what everybody likes to do, and that's fish.
We not only had to change our locations on the fly, we had to change our target species as well, from smallmouth to largemouth. Our new mission was straightforward: locate and catch midsummer largemouth on a small, undeveloped natural lake.
The Commandos were forced into a last-minute lake change, but making changes on the fly is one of the skills that sets a lake commando apart. Here are the details on today's battleground. It's a small, natural, undeveloped lake, just 470 acres in size, but it does have a maximum depth of 50 feet, and water clarity is good at around 10 feet. The lake has a gradual sloping break from the shoreline to the deepest hole in the center. It has a well-defined submerged weed line of mostly cabbage and coontail, as well as patches of thick emerged bulrushes, and an abundance of shoreline wood, so there's no shortage of good habitat. The forage base is typical of a small natural lake, with a variety of minnow species, yellow perch, and immature panfish such as bluegills. Weather conditions are good, with air temps in the 80s and water temps in the high 70s. Wind will be a factor with a solid 10 to 15 mile per hour breeze out of the northwest, and there is a possibility of thunderstorms later in the day. That's the battleground the Lake Commandos are facing, and we're about to find out their plan of attack. But what would you do if you were faced with the same situation? Let us know online.
I'm thinking deeper more than shallow, and I'm going to fish a spinning rod, and I'm going to fish a shaky head with a new plastic worm by Powerbait called the rib snake. It's got some real nice ribs in it. It's got great tail action. I'm going to fish it on a jig head so I can fish precise areas along the weed line. I'm throwing it on 10-pound, 100% fluorocarbon for the clarity, but also the sensitivity on a 7-foot medium action Veritas rod from Abu Garcia. Great sensitivity, but a lot of backbone and good power. On a Revo SX30 reel, it's a good bass size reel. It's got good strength, good drag, and this is the outfit I'm going to use to put Matt back in his place today.
I haven't been out fishing largemouth much lately, but I have been walleye fishing, I have been smallmouth fishing, and those fish are starting to move off deeper. I'm going to target some of the deeper fish with the Sabile bull crank. I'm going to start off with chartreuse, bright skies, bright colors typically, but it does have a little bit of black in it, so it's not too overwhelming. I'm going to throw it with the Revo MGX Extreme, and I got a 7-foot medium rod, the Veracity from Abu. Should be able to give me some distance so I can get up to those shallow fish and then slow roll it back and kind of target some of those deeper fish. So I'm using 10-pound fluoro from Trilene. It should be able to hold up to some of the weeds. There is a little bit of wood out here, so it's abrasion resistant, and that's what I'm going to use to send Steve back home with his tail between his legs.
It was a major contrast in patterns. Subtle plastics against fast-moving cranks with a simple set of rules to guide us. Each angler would have 2 hours to run the boat and put our chosen tactic to the test. Whoever lands the most bass earns the title of top commando. So despite the weather curveball, the table was set for what I knew was going to be a classic commando showdown.
This is insane.
Lake Commandos is brought to you by Abu Garcia for life, Trilene, Anglers Trust Berkeley Trilene, Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time, Nanofill, the next generation in fishing line, and by Fish Hound, real-time fishing reports.
You know what, I'm thinking we should just start in here and work our way around.
On a beautiful midsummer morning, guide Matt Breuer and I began our Lake Commando mission to find and catch largemouth bass on a small natural lake with good structure and great cover. Matt picked the first 2-hour shift and was ready to put his Sebile bull crank to work. But finding fish fast would be nothing new for Mr. Breuer. He's been a respected and sought-after multi-species fishing guide for more than 12 years. He's also an accomplished writer and fishing products promoter.
There's a fish.
You got one already?
First cast.
Oh, you're screwed.
Not a bad one.
No, look at that. First cast.
First cast.
You know, that's normally not a good thing. I am very superstitious about catching a fish on the first cast. There's been several times where I've caught a fish thinking we're just absolutely going to kill him, and most of the time we crash and burn. Today was the exception. Oh, I missed one. There's a fish. What are you up to?
Same here.
Yeah, there's a just hook on a crankbait like that down here. You got a fish?
While Matt chose a medium diving bait to work the outside weed line, I decided to be a little different and went with a shallow diving Sebile prankster, hoping the fish would be willing to come up and chase.
There's a fish.
That one looks better. Oh.
Yeah, it's a better fish. There you go. I love it when they eat a crankbait. When they get the front hook on a crankbait like that, that means they're eating. A lot of times what will happen is you'll get this bites on that back hook and they want to eat the bait, but they're not swallowing it. And if you see a consistent pattern, then start switching colors or baits just to see if you can come up with one where they're eating it like this versus like that. You had one, or is that just...
Lost one in the weeds.
You know, the Sebile crankster has got a real throaty rattle to it, almost like a one knocker, and a nice short bill. This thing runs hard and fast. There's a fish.
Right over in there, you said?
Yeah, that's the best one so far, maybe. That guy wanted that bait. Whew.
Steve's getting him on a shallower running bait, so I'm going with something with a square bill instead of that deep diving bill. I'm down by quite a bit, so we got to switch it up a little bit here, get caught up.
You know, there might be a speed issue here going on too, because I am fishing it very, very fast. I think you're down 12.
I think it's 9.
9?
I think it's 9.
How about we split the difference, make it 10, because I actually think it's 13, but. Today, most gasoline contains ethanol, a powerful solvent that also attracts water. It's important to take steps to avoid performance issues or even damage your outboard. I recommend installing a marine fuel water separating filter. Not only is it easy to install, it removes debris from your fuel as small as 10 microns, and of course, removes water from your fuel. You should also learn where the fuel filter is on your engine. and clean or replace it at recommended intervals. I recommend a couple fuel additives from Yamalube, including the Yamalube Fuel Stabilizer and Conditioner Plus and Ring Free Plus.
Ring Free helps prevent carbon buildup, one of your outboard's worst enemies.
The stabilizer helps prevent fuel oxidation, phase separation, and of course, varnish buildup. When it comes to achieving peak performance, maintenance matters.
This segment is brought to you by Yeti Coolers. Yeti, wildly stronger, keep ice longer.
Veteran guide Matt Breuer and I are locked in a commando battle to find and catch largemouth bass on a small natural lake. We started with Matt's weed edge crankbait plan, and the action was insane. But the fish we caught were small, nothing over 3 pounds. Now it was my turn to take control and to go to work with my finesse plastic strategy.
You know, over at the ramp this morning, I said I wanted to fish a shaky head, but I went to a drop shot for a couple of reasons. One, these fish are chasing really well in this clear water, and I can fish this drop shot a little bit faster. And with this wind blowing right down the break line, we're casting up in there, and I have very little sensitivity, so I can just leave that heavier drop shot weight on bottom and shake that bait, and the wind's not affecting me as much.
Yeah?
11 feet down there. There's some grass there. That's adding to the weight. Nothing special, he just got down in the grass. Coontail.
It's rare to get frustrated when you're catching fish on nearly every other cast, but this was one of those times. The soft plastics produce nearly as many bites as the crankbaits, but the fish remain too small to excite us. And for a true lake commando, solving half the riddle is never good enough. It was time to scrap our original plans and make a major change to see if we could locate bigger fish.
You know what I'd like to do, I think right now, I want to switch over. I want to go to a bulky bait, a big bait, probably a jig or something like that. I want to run these shorelines here, find out if there's some shallow cover. I'm frustrated right now. This lake is not what it's fun,
yeah,
but it's not. I want 3s and 4s and 5s and 6s, and even in this clear water, I think with you have a few down trees that have enough depth, they may hold fish. So let's go see if we can find something that's going to put a big fish in the boat.
Sounds good.
It's 6 feet deep here.
You'd think I'd be happy with a big lead, but the lack of any large fish really began to bother me. What were we doing wrong? Did the lake even hold big bass? As lake commandos, our main battle is against both the lake and the fish. And until we got some big bites, our mission would not be complete.
Oh, there's gotta be a fish on this thing. There.
Good one too.
That's the best one yet. Look at that. Success. He's not a 3 though.
No, that's the nicest fish of the day though.
Yes. We might have found our pattern. Now you're in a body of water where it's so shallow you wouldn't think a fish would be in a foot of water or 2 feet of water, but these trees offer such a great ambush points and protection. And it's just funny, a lot of people don't fish them. Whoa, I saw him grab it. Oh, that's a good fish too. That was a 4 or 5. He came flying out of there. I just set the hook on the, you got him?
I got one. I don't know if it's him, but.
That's a good fish. Oh yeah.
Not terrible.
No. Good fish.
We still need to improve.
I think we're on a pattern.
Yeah.
I think we're on the best big fish pattern for this lake at least for today.
Lake Commandos is brought to you by Yeti Coolers, wildly stronger, keep ice longer. Gulp Alive. Looks, feels, tastes alive. Yamaha Marine. Reliability starts here. Not too kinky. No kinks ever. Freybill. Trusted gear since 1938. And by Plano. Protect your passion.
They say you're never supposed to leave fish to find fish, but when all you're on are small fish, I will move. And on this day, Matt Breuer and I rolled the dice, left the wild small fish bite in the deep weed edge, and moved to the shallow shoreline where we finally found big bass.
I got one. Under the tree. Oh, you got one too?
Yep.
Ooh, you got a nice one. There's a better one. Look at that. Off the trees, and look at that, less than a foot of water. Ooh, there's a good one. There's your best one yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's actually a...
That's a chunk.
Yeah, it's a nice fish.
I'm gonna make a switch. This is a Havoc Pit Boss, designed by Skeet Reese. And it's got a lot of appendages that really move underwater, but they're more compact, and the bait itself is real heavy. And I've caught as many as 8, 9, 10 bass on a single bait. I like this color too. Whoa, dude. Look at this one.
That's what we're looking for. That is a beast.
I gotta get him in. Whoa, now there's a stud right there. Yes.
Nice one.
Pit Boss.
For a lake commando, there's nothing more rewarding than the moment when you realize you've overcome all the unknowns and figured out the best bite on brand new water. After over 70 bass, including some true monsters, I'd say Matt and I can claim we've done just that today. But there's always room for one more big fish.
There's a fish. Got him. Get out of there. Ooh, good one.
Nice one, nice one.
Ooh, there's a big one. Look at the size of this beast.
Yes! That is a big fish.
That is a mule. That is the fish we've been looking for all day right now.
This is by far the biggest of the day.
What a giant. He came off that little stick over there.
In the end, this day, more than most, epitomized what it means to go commando. And there were 3 lessons that really stood out for me. First, always have a backup plan available. When storms kept us from our original destination, we could have easily called it quits. But a commando knows that there's always new water to explore. Second, while the crankbait bite was insane, I managed to get a big lead on Matt by fishing faster. I switched to a Revo MGX bait caster with a blazing 7.9 to 1 retrieve ratio, 31 inches of line per turn, burning a shallow bait faster and covering more water to take advantage of the really active fish. And finally, we learned that no matter how fun it is to catch dozens of smaller fish, at times you need to look elsewhere to find big fish, and often that means to move shallow or deep. Today, we went super shallow and found success. 3 baits did the job for us today. The Sebile Crankster was red hot on the deep weed edge, but we also caught numbers of fish in the exciting new power bait rib snake. But the hot bait for big fish was the Skeet Reese designed Havoc Pit Boss.
Here's your chance to go commando and win what works. Log on to our Facebook page and enter our free Win What Works sweepstakes. Every week, we'll pick one lucky winner and send them the same baits we used in that week's Lake Commandos mission. So enter today and go commando.
In the end, while I landed more fish than Matt today, I'm going to call this a team victory because by putting our experience together and refusing to accept defeat, we were able to win this war, and we'll be better Lake Commandos for it.
3, 2, 1. And that's what I'm going to use to send Steve back home. Oh. I just turned my head and just poof.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, ramp. Not on a hot day. Wow.
special. This is Coastal Chaos. Success in saltwater fishing often depends on your ability to find, catch, and keep live bait. Be prepared to catch the bait you need, no matter the location or your target species. That's a beautiful bait right there. Cast netting is one very effective method. Using a multi-hook sabiki rig is another. There's a pile of different sabikis out there. Match the sabiki to the target bait. Go with too big of a hook and you may injure your bait, but too small of a hook and you may lose too many. On a rig or a weed patch, when bait fish are on structure, target them in their safety zone. That's what we came for. Never try to pull the baits too far away from cover, especially when there are predators like barracudas around. Most bait fish will eat the sabiki on a slow drop. Always feel the weight of your lead on the drop. Otherwise, you may find yourself in the sabiki triangle. A de-hooker size to the hook used makes it easy to quickly unhook the bait and get them in the bait tank unharmed. See this little red bead? I added above my sabiki. It helps me avoid tangles and it keeps me from damaging my rod. Coastal Chaos, tips for serious saltwater anglers.